pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Here.
Mr. Franco.
I'm here.
Mr. Cabrera.
I'm here. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Section 1975, the notice requirements have been satisfied as to the time, place, and date of holding said meeting by posting notice on the bulletin board here in Borough Hall and by mailing and emailing same to the Herald of Cape May County and the Press of Atlantic City on October 13th, 2021. In the event of an emergency, your emergency exit is the back door, the way you came in, or your front left, or our front right. Just a reminder, this meeting is being shown live here today on Facebook, Borough's Facebook page, and also the Borough's YouTube channel. We also have the conference line here if anybody wants to remotely call in and ask a question. I know there's at least one on the call at the moment. But if you're going to watch the recorded version of the meeting, you can send an email into the clerk at wildwoodcrest.org with any questions or comments, or you may call 609-729-8040. Okay, I think that takes care of all the preliminary announcements. We have no ordinances on the agenda. Madam Clerk, can we have the resolutions, please?
Yes, sir. The first is authorizing a shared services agreement with the Cape May County Municipal Utilities Authority for solid waste disposal and recycling services.
Motion. I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of Higbee Field Lighting System retrofit contract to Ronald Janney Electrical Contractor, Inc. at the not-to-exceed sum of $43,250.
Motion. I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing advertisement of a notice to bidders for the reconstruction of Syracuse Avenue.
Motion. I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
And would you gentlemen mind moving your microphones so that they can hear? Yep. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry.
I got a message. Next is authorizing expenditure to purchase two Class I3 pickup trucks from Mall Chevrolet under the ESC-NJ Cooperative Purchasing Program for the Public Works Department.
Motion. Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Resolution 5 is being pulled. The next is authorizing refund of property taxes or utilities overpayment for multiple properties and made payable to CoreLogic.
Motion. Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is designating a non-condemnation redevelopment area and rehabilitation area within the borough of Wildwood Crest, County of Cape May, State of New Jersey.
Motion. Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Lastly is referring a proposed rehabilitation area within the borough of Wildwood Crest, County of Cape May, State of New Jersey, to the Wildwood Crest Planning Board.
Motion. I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for recreation department, construction official, emergency services coordinator for EMS, and Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company chief for the month ending August 30th, 2022 be accepted as presented.
Second that.
It has been moved and seconded that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for the recreation department, construction official, emergency services coordinator for the EMS, and the Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company chief for the month ending August, it should be 31st, 2022, be accepted as presented. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Sorry, that was my typo.
Motion that all minutes from the regularly scheduled commission meeting dated August 24th, 2022, and September 7th, 2022 be approved as presented.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded that all minutes from the regularly scheduled commission meetings dated August 24th and September 7th, 2022 be approved as presented. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna leapfrog down to the public safety reports before we give the administrator and the engineer's report. Who wants to go first? Chief Lloyd?
It's not working, but we have this.
Good evening, everyone.
Chief.
Okay, so first I'm going to start off with some of the highlights from my August report to the Commissioner of Public Safety. In the month of August, we had 3,212 calls for service with the Wildwood Crest Police Department. Of those 3,212, 630 were criminal investigations. We had 450 service calls, which are alarms, citizen assist, fires, medical assist, school-related activities. We had 656 motor vehicle stops with 166 motor vehicle summonses issued. We did 532 property checks, and we had 171 training hours. For the month of August, we had 26 adult arrests and 9 DUIs, no juvenile arrests. So, as most of you know, on Monday there was an incident down at the school that caused a lockdown of the school. It actually did not occur at the school, but it was reported that someone saw a gentleman wearing a bulletproof vest running toward the school before or during drop-off time. Once officers got that information and the school got that information, we determined it would be appropriate for us to lock down the school until we could figure out exactly what was going on. So we did lock down the school. Not all of the children made their way to school, and we were able to notify the parents that had not dropped off yet to keep their kids at home. We were locked down for several hours. We were able to track down this gentleman and determine that he was not wearing a bulletproof vest, that it was actually a weighted training vest that he was using to train for a marathon. I do want to say that I've seen quite a few comments on social media that people overreacted and they shouldn't have reported this gentleman, but I do want to say that when it comes to the safety of our children, I think being on the safe side is more important. Report that to us, report that to the police, let us do our investigation. If you see something that you're not sure about, something that you think is suspicious, report it to us. I would rather we go and determine that it's not suspicious and determine that there's nothing going on than for something to go unreported and something bad happens. So I just want to say I do believe that because those folks did not know what they were looking at, reporting it to us was the right thing to do. I'd like to commend the officers and the school staff for their response to that incident. Everybody did a very professional job. It went very smoothly and everything worked as it should. And I just want to remind the public and the governing body that everything done that day was intended to keep our children safe. This weekend we have the Seafarer celebration on Sunset Lake from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So New Jersey Avenue will be closed from Rambler to Monterey to vehicle traffic. So you will not be able to get your vehicle in between Rambler Road and Monterey Avenue at all between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Once it closes down on Sunset Lake, it'll resume at Centennial Park at 7:30 for a concert and then followed by fireworks. So there will be some traffic consideration down there at Centennial Park also. I don't know if you want me to address the water response now, or I know that's under new business.
Why don't you give us a short version of the order response, what we're looking at, and the purpose of it?
So the program that we're looking at is in conjunction with both the North Wildwood Fire Department and the Wildwood Fire Department. The North Wildwood has New Jersey State Police certified instructors for these courses. There's two levels. There's the awareness level and the operations level. The training is intended for emergency response. So in the event that there is either an after-hours incident in the water, either in the ocean or on Sunset Lake, or during the shoulder season, or anytime during the year, we'd like to train as many of our first responders in Wildwood Crest as possible and get them these certifications, either the awareness level or the operations level. So the awareness level, yes, you do time in the water, but mostly it's self-preservation if you end up in the water when you're not supposed to, and also what you can do from the shore or from dry land to assist those that are actually going into the water. In the event you absolutely have to, they show you what to do if you do have to go into the water. The operations level is more like the water rescue swimmers. So we would provide them with proper equipment and have them, in the event they had to, effect a rescue in the ocean or Sunset Lake. I already actually have multiple officers that are trained at the operations level.
You want to knock this out on new business now, or you want to, or we'll come back to it? Doesn't matter.
We'll come back to it if you want. We'll see. We'll explain the purpose of it if you'd like.
Well, the purpose of it is for any emergency situation in the water. Right now, we don't have a team set up to effect a rescue in the water anywhere in Wildwood Crest. I believe the fire department does have some equipment, but correct me if I'm wrong, do we have a team?
No, Wildwood is our team.
Yes. So this is in the event either Wildwood's not available or the situation is imminent and an officer's going to go in the water whether they have the training or not. So I think it would be best to not only train them but also equip them properly so they can make that rescue safely.
Okay, so we'll come back to that
Okay.
under new business. All right, so
That'll conclude my report,
cool. All right,
unless you have any questions.
I have none for now.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to Chief Johnson.
I have my notes. Just going to make it short and sweet. I know you want to go to a soccer game, right? First of all, I'd like to thank the governing body for their support of the beach patrol during the summer and then also all year round. It's much appreciated. Our last guarding day, today I think officially is the end of summer. I think today, we all know it's not the end of summer, but by the calendar it's the end of the summer. Our last guarding day was Sunday, September the 11th. This past weekend we had an emergency response team on duty at the beach. I had 3 teams out there being reactive but not proactive, just waiting in case something happened. Fortunately, nothing happened. We did get a call out on Saturday, which turned out to be a false alarm. A couple swimmers in the ocean, and they were able to get back in on their own. Actually, they were very good swimmers. But people, sitting or standing on the beach, see someone out too far, they're going to make a 911 call and things like that. So that's what happens. And everybody responded, police, fire and rescue, the group that the chief was just talking about. And of course, we responded as well, but everything was fine. The situation now with no guards on the beach is always, we advise people, no guard, no swim. That's our philosophy. Use common sense, obviously, never swim alone. Flotation devices like torpedo buoys, boogie boards, surfboards, anything like that could save a life when there's no guards on duty. But again, I go back to no guard, no swim. And that's what we try to promote. Next weekend, we'll have the last emergency response team. We'll be out on the beach, again, in the back, being reactive, not proactive, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I want to thank everyone for their cooperation and support for another safe and successful summer on the beach. It's a total team effort that makes, I believe, the borough of Wildwood Crest a special place to work and also to live. The governing body, Mr. Cabrera, Mr. Franco, Mr. Schiff, like I said, have always supported the Beach Patrol, and we do appreciate that. Also, all the department heads and the members of their departments. It seems like everybody pitches in when it comes to public safety on the beach. I want to obviously thank those people. I'm just fortunate that I have a job that gets me to spend every day on the beach in the summer, and I do appreciate that. I work on the finest, safest, and cleanest bathing beach in the world, and with a team of dedicated, trained, and professional supervisors, ocean lifeguards, EMTs, transport drivers, and they're all ambassadors for our community. So that's it. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chief.
Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody have any questions for the chief?
He's already done.
I got you.
Good
Mr.
Good
Harwood?
evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is the monthly report for August for the Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company. We responded to 51 calls. We had one overpressure explosion or heated, 9 rescue EMS assists, 8 hazardous conditions, 3 service calls, 5 good intent calls, 25 false alarms, for a total of 51 incidents. We had an average of 15 members per turnout. He had 1 mutual aid call to the City of Wildwood for structure fire. That's the fire end report. Moving on to the Wildwood Crest EMS, we had a total of 194 calls for the month of August. 62 were transported to Cape Regional Hospital. 66 refused care, 18 refused or canceled by dispatch, 48 public assist or fire standby. We received 7 mutual aids from Wildwood for the month. We had 1 from North Wildwood. Mutual aid given, we gave 10 mutual aids to the City of North Wildwood. 10 to Wildwood, 2 to North Wildwood, and 10 to Lower Township for a total of 194 calls. I'm gonna go fast, Mayor, so you gotta go somewhere. Next, moving on to the fire prevention for the month of August. We did 110 periodic inspections, 89 re-inspections, 8 life hazards, 5 life hazard re-inspections, 3 follow-ups or other complaints for a total of 216 total inspections. We had sent out 172 notices of violation and 134 certificates of inspection. We had 4 smoke detector sales of property for the month of August. For under the SLIP program, housing program, 5-year, we had 128 units were inspected and 79 were re-inspected for the month of August. Moving into the last one would be the Office of Emergency Management. We updated our Cape May 2021 County Hazard Mitigation Plan progress report. It's a quarterly report. Trish gets that we updated on progress on 7 things that we're doing, which is 500-year floodplain and the other 6 projects we got out there. So we updated that, and that's all progress. That's my report for August.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Harwood?
Yes, sir.
None? All right, so I just have one small comment. I want to commend the chief and the Beach Patrol for a job well done, and I also want to commend Public Works because Wildwood Crest is all about the beach. If you got to be clean, it's got to be accessible, got to be safe, and I think we've accomplished all of that here this season. So kudos to everybody that was involved. If you stop and look at thousands and thousands of people that use our beach, we don't get many complaints. you know, we get some ones that, you know, we have to address here and there, but that's to be expected. But if things weren't right, I would think that we would get a tremendous amount of concern expressed by the public. So kudos to everybody, job well done. All right, that moves us on to the administrator and the engineer's report.
Right, try to be brief. So beach bump outs, our engineers should be ready to go out to bid on the 11 beach bump outs south of Rambler in the very near future. These include Toledo, St. Paul, Monterey, Miami, Louisville, Nashville, Atlanta, Farragut, Stanton, Stockton, and Orchid. As we've been reporting, the Crest has been approved for a $2.5 million open spaces grant for this purpose. Crest Arts Pavilion. One of the 2 remaining significant delays has been resolved on this project. The nano door on the east rear portion of the building has been installed. We are now waiting on the electrical panel. According to the contractor, it was scheduled to arrive last week, but it has been delayed again. Once it is installed, there is about 2 weeks of work left before completion of this project, and we would be able to hold our open house walkthrough for any interested individuals for leasing the cafe or the retail space. An application is before the Cape County Open Spaces Board to provide funding for exterior site improvements. We have been informed that the board will be reviewing our amended application next Tuesday. These improvements will include parking improvements, botanical gardens, signage, art, a bike repair station, outdoor furnishings, and more. We have been provided with a schedule of remediation for the groundwater, which will conclude before the new year. We've engaged a state licensed remediation expert to guide us through the process. Pacific Avenue, Phase 2. This is a county reconstruction. It has commenced south of St. Louis in the southernmost portion of town. According to Bob Church, our county engineer, the contractor has completed all drainage test pits and is completing the limited drainage that he can do prior to South Jersey Gas coming in to relocate their facilities, which are in conflict with the proposed drainage improvements. The waterline crossings that were in conflict have been offset already to set up for the new drainage installation. The gas company should be in the next week and will be there for about 2 weeks. Then the drainage work will progress. I will provide updates to the public as I receive them from the county engineer, and I always do call in prior to our meetings to see if there's anything new. The Hereford Inlet to Cape May Inlet Beach and Dune construction, there isn't really anything new to report. We're still waiting on 2 of the municipalities to come in with their state aid agreements. Nothing really new to report on New Jersey Avenue. I know that was a separate issue tonight under resolutions. The Sunset Lake State Channel dredging, something new to report would be that we will be surveying the lake area. It is scheduled to begin this week and is expected to take several weeks. In the meantime, we will continue with our meetings with NJDOT and our in-house dredging committee. CAFRA applications. Our application for a CAFRA permit to legalize a public safety storage and parking facility on the beachfront location in Wildwood Crest was denied on August 16th. We have requested a hearing in order to pursue an alternative dispute resolution with the NJDEP. We are still awaiting word on our request for an administrative review for the Beach Patrol headquarters renovation so that we can start the bidding process on that. We expect to file another permit application with CAFRA, or for a CAFRA application shortly, for the following items: dune and beach maintenance activities, the bike path improvements north of Rambler, the widening of the pedestrian access through the dunes north of Rambler, the old library site improvements, or the Crest Arts Pavilion site improvements, including expanded parking and water main looping in the southern part of town. Washington Avenue brick study, we were awarded a brick grant from FEMA for it's a $90-some thousand, $93,000 grant. 70 of it would be FEMA's contribution, and 23 would be our contribution. De Blasio and Associates will be performing that study on the Washington Avenue area flooding issues. EV charging stations, the NJBPU has approved a tourism grant and a clean energy grant for the borough. These 2 grants will provide funding towards the purchase and installation of 7 level 2 chargers, 4 fast chargers, and we do have an incentive for 2 Chevy Bolts totaling $4,000. So I'm continuing to work with our grant writer on those initiatives. For the engineer's report, it's pretty simple. Sunset Lake surveying is scheduled to start this week. De Blasio staff should be out shortly, and you will see them out and about for about 3 weeks. The bid documents for the lifeguard building renovation project are still being developed, and a final bid schedule will be set once the NJDEP-JD is received by the borough. 3, the reconstruction of Syracuse Avenue bid schedule is the following. The project is scheduled to be advertised for public bid on September 28th, and the bid opening is scheduled for October 19th with a notice to proceed shortly thereafter. That's it.
Okay, everybody, any questions of our administrator and fill-in engineer for the evening?
No, thanks, Connie.
Public, any questions? Anybody on the conference line have any questions? Hearing none, we're going to move on to public comments. First round of public comments. If anybody has a question or a comment, please give us your name, address for the record. That includes anybody that's also on the conference line. We'll start with anybody on the conference line first. Does anybody have any public comments? Hearing none, we'll move to anybody here in the audience tonight. None? All right, we're going to move on to the items of discussion. First matter under new business is planners in lieu of barricades at Centennial Park. I believe, Chief, do you have an update on that, just so everyone's aware what that is? If anyone has seen any of the concerts at Centennial Park, you'll notice those bright orange and white water-filled barricades designed to help keep traffic from driving into the concerts and so forth. But we've been having some internal discussions about prettying them up, for lack of a better term. Chief, go ahead.
Yes, so we've been talking about this for some time. Before the summer, myself and Brian Kniff were looking into some temporary barricades for planter-type barricades for the back of Centennial Park. Unfortunately, the ones that we were looking at, everything had a delivery date of after September, so nothing that we would have purchased or spent money on it would have even gotten here before the season started. So we figured let's leave as is and think of something permanent that we can put there so we don't have to continue moving things around and putting those barricades, which are quite unsightly, at the back of the park. And I know they are, and I apologize for that, but they're there for an intended reason, an intended purpose. So I've had discussions with Commissioner Schiff about putting something permanent back there. I've spoken to Joe Bond a few times. I don't want to put extra work on Public Works by putting more planners, so I was thinking about something permanent that looks like the planners we have, that might add some seating in the park, possibly putting some benches. I mean, I'd leave that ultimately to the governing body, but what we would like is something that is permanent and immovable.
Okay. Questions? Sorry, me. I guess when the time comes, if there's engineering, because it's something like that, we might be able to do that with part of some of our projects that we have going on. So I would say when Mark gets back, maybe we could get a bid from one of our contractors in town to quote that out for next year.
Whatever you need.
All right. Cool.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Might as well stay right there, Chief.
Okay, so now we're on for the water safety instruction. So I think Chief gave a good overview, I believe, of what the program is. I had actually asked to place it on the agenda just so I could get a better understanding, because when you hear water safety instruction and police and first responders going into the water, I was thinking, wait a minute, hold on a second, because as an avid open water swimmer, I just want to understand it is dangerous, and my main concern was to not put employees in harm's way, and I understand that there's training and so forth. I guess we may not have all the answers now, but off the top of my head, so I'm just trying to figure out, like Chief Johnson, he talked about the emergency response team that he has there. Is this in conjunction with that, or is it separate from that, or how's that?
No, so it would be separate. So there's going to be times when the beach patrol is not on the beach, whether it be during the shoulder season or after the after-hours response team has already left. Okay, so that's going to leave whatever emergency responders that we have responding to that incident to affect the rescue. Right now, we rely on Wildwood City Fire Department and North Wildwood City Fire Departments to do our water rescue. I know as a police officer that's done it myself, and I also know my staff very well, they're not going to stand by in the event that we have something happen and let somebody drown. They're going to go in the water, and they're going to do everything that they can to preserve life, which is what our main function is. So what myself and Commissioner have spoken about is, if I have police officers that I know are going to go in the water anyway, why not train them and equip them properly to make sure that in the event they do go in the water because they have to, they're doing it in a safe manner and they know what to do to protect themselves and also to safely make that rescue.
Yeah, there's no question for me on that end. I'm just thinking in terms of, I mean, like they got their vests on, and generally it takes two people to do a rescue like that. So if they have to swim out, like what do they do with their bulletproof vests and all that stuff? Is that not what it is? Or
We're not going to have one police officer respond to the scene and then that's it. Typically, when we get a water rescue call, everybody that's available is going to that scene. So we're going to lock our equipment, and we also have lock boxes in our vehicles that are separate from just the regular locking mechanism for the vehicle itself. So we can put our equipment, our stuff that needs to be secured, like our bulletproof vest and our firearm, into that lockbox, and nobody, even if they do get into the car, is going to be able to access that. So we have those lockboxes in our cars. So in the event somebody has to go in, part of the training is for them to know that you're not going in the water by yourself. You're going to wait for essentially what it is, a spotter. So somebody is going to be on land, and that's a lot of what the awareness level is. They're going to learn what to do while on land, spotting the rescue swimmer that goes into the water. Now, I'm not an expert on this because I'm not the instructor, but speaking with Chief McLean from North Wildwood Fire Department multiple occasions about this, this is what I've learned so far. I'd like to train all my police officers if I can. I know not all of them are going to go to the operations level and be rescue swimmers. I know that's not possible because not everybody has that ability.
Not a lot of people can't swim.
So you have the awareness level. In order to get into the operations level, you have to swim into that operations level. So you have to take a test that involves a swimming portion in order to get to that operations level. So we're not going to have somebody who doesn't know how to swim trained in that operations level as a rescue swimmer.
Is the training? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Is the training similar to what the beach patrol guards would have to do? Because it's an open water, so
I don't want to speak as to what they're trained on because I don't 100% know. It is different than it's emergency response. It's and I'm not saying what they do is not emergency response, but I mean we're talking about. You have a life vest, a helmet, you have a spotter, you use throw ropes, stuff like that. They have different equipment than what these swimmers would be using. And it is a different situation. So the lifeguards are constantly watching the water and they see somebody who starts to panic or whatever. We're getting that call once that person is already in danger. And then we're going and we're doing what we can to effect a rescue.
So that's not just the police there, right? So you said first responders, EMS
this is going to be opened up to the rescue, fire, also North Wildwood Fire Police Department is going to be training their officers also. It's going to be opened up to anybody on the island that is interested in attending the training. As a first responder, yes.
Not to jump on, in the middle there, basically we have beach patrol lieutenants that want to take this course so they can be involved with it and learn more about it. Because it's a different rescue operation than what we do on the beach. and I can't address that, but I know what I see. And the purpose that I wanted to say about this is, there's so much time between rescue and recovery. There's just so much time. We don't have that big period of time in the middle of where we can grab somebody and when it's a recovery, which is not the good part. So we're just trying to make it a little bit more of a space in between there. Also, I want to make sure everybody knows that we're the only community that does not have a response team on the island. We do rely on Wildwood, and they do a heck of a job. We do our best that we can, but they're the ones that are trained. And I feel that I would like it to be reciprocal where, and they've been down here a number of times, and I've gone to every one of those calls just to see, just to learn. That's why I go to this stuff, so I can see what we need to progress. And they're there. Our police are always there first. And then they're there, and rescue's also there. And then the firemen come. So I kind of want to get everything together. And the purpose of this is to blend the community together, so if Wildwood's there first, we know how to react to Wildwood. If we're there first, Wildwood's going to react the same way with us. The purpose is safety, and North Wildwood also. So our problem is, if we're relying on Wildwood to show up for our water rescue, and God forbid there's a fire, what are we doing? We're going to be standing there. So as Chief said, and through our discussions,
Well, if you,
They're
if
gonna
you don't,
go
no,
in.
they're gonna get, if you don't mind me interrupting, I
Okay.
apologize, my officers are gonna go in.
absolutely.
So I think we need to train them to make sure that they're safe. in
And
doing
Connie
that.
looked into our insurances. The other companies have them through JIF, and we're covered that way.
Okay, yeah, I saw the internal notes on that. Yeah, so my only concern was just to kind of drill into just making sure that our staff is safe. That's my number one. I certainly get taking care and making sure that the public's safe, but we also have a lot, I just want to make sure our staff is,
By us doing this, by us training them, that gives us a greater opportunity to know that they'll be safe going in.
yeah, I just know there's a lot of people that have a fear of water, so I'm thinking, oh geez, I don't know if I want to stick our employees in the middle of getting in the water.
In my 20 years in law enforcement, when I swam out to try to effect a water rescue, I don't think I've ever been so scared in my 20 years in law enforcement, and I've done some pretty hairy stuff. So that was probably the most scared I've ever been when I swam out into the
Almost
water
drowned.
and then turned around and saw how far I was out, and then I'm trying to save somebody who's trying to push me under the water to keep themselves above.
Yeah, that's what I say.
So-
It's definitely more
So
than, it's
we
more than
need,
a
we need to
one-person
train our
rescue.
officers, train our first responders, and get them the equipment that they need so they can do it safely.
Okay. Any questions for the chief?
No, you answered.
Thank you, sir.
the question I was asking.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Under old business, I don't have anything to report on. Does anybody have anything they want to go over?
No, because she's 8 minutes late.
Uh-oh. All right, this brings us to our last round of public comments before commissioners' comments. Public, we'll start with anybody here in the audience here tonight. Hearing none, anybody on the conference line have any public comments? Nobody on the call? All right, we'll move right into commissioners' comments. We'll move to, who wants to go first?
Why don't you go first?
Sounds good. No, I'll be quick. Just wanted to remind everybody about Saturday, the rescheduled 9/11 service, dedication to Andy Alamino, who passed away on 9/11. That would be at 4 o'clock, so hopefully everyone will be able to go.
That was mine.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
And I
Go ahead.
swear he looks at our sheets before.
You looked over my
He
shoulder.
did that last time, too. I just
Okay.
want to thank all our people that work with us, our employees. The stuff that the public does not see. They're doing a great job, and appreciate all the work that happens, all our department heads. And we had a great summer. I want to continue it. Thank you.
All right, and I want to acknowledge Emily Givens here with us tonight. Was here to talk about if anybody had any questions on the New Jersey Avenue redevelopment zones and the work and the process. If anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. honestly and truthfully, I'm still trying to get my hands around all the process. It's kind of a complicated issue, but thanks for coming down and making the trip down there. Does anybody have any questions? None? All right. Well, thank you for coming. The last comment I have, just talking about the beach. So now the summer is officially over, I think, as of today, right? Today. Yeah. So I'd like to ask the governing body and all our department heads if there's anything that we need to start talking about to get ready for the beach operations for next year, signage, projects, change in any of that stuff. We have an ordinance. I would ask everyone to please read the ordinance. Let's start focusing our attention on all the things that we need to do to get ready for summer 2023. So, and I think I had asked Trish to place that on the agenda for the next meeting. So if you could everyone kindly take a look and get together with your department heads and figure out what we need to plan for, budget for, and all that good stuff. As I keep saying, the beach is what we're all about. So we want to make sure we do a good job into next year. All right, that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second, Trish.
All in favor?
Aye.